Može? Okay. How how's the lunch? Woo! Yeah, okay. Don't be so excited. Okay, again. So we have Dušan from Nordius with us, and his talk is, for me, like it's always hearing case studies is always exciting. I guess that you will learn a lot, and I expect a lot of questions because all of us have the same problems. And of course, questions. There is an orange Tessie bot on Messenger and Telegram. So ask him. So the speaker will get the best questions listed from there. And yeah, right afterwards. And Dušan, please take the stage. I will just let this.
Okay, thank you. So hello and welcome to my talk. As you heard, my name is Dušan Stevanović. I come from a company called Nordius. And here I want to talk about the update cycle of one application, of one product. And I'll show you what my team and me tried during the development and improvement of TopEleven, a game we are working on for the last 7 years. I'll take just a moment to tell you something about Nordius if you don't know about it. So Nordius is a game-dependent studio, independent one, based here in Belgrade, but with another office in Dublin. Currently, we employ more than 160 great people, and our flagship product is TopEleven. So TopEleven is one of the best online sports games. It's been already played by more than 150 million of players, and it's played everywhere in the world, in each country. Okay, so to get back to the topic. Okay, I'll start a bit about the history of TopEleven, because as TopEleven evolved, our organization and our mindset involved with it. So the first TopEleven client, the client part of the product, was developed in ActionScript for a Flash player, Adobe Flash player, and it was developed by a startup company with just a few employees. Everybody had to do everything. It was like a chaos organization, but it worked. So they delivered the product. After some time, it became huge. It started earning money. The company started expanding. And then, as the company grew larger, we had to invest some time and we had to organize ourselves somehow. So I can specify one turning point. It was when we wanted to add mobile clients, native iOS and Android clients. And at that point, we said, like, this is a place we have to think about developers. They're going to specialize in one area. And to continue on from there, we created a lot of teams that were specific for one technology or for one specific part of game development process. So at that time, we created native iOS and Android clients, Flash client, Java client, Java team, design team, art team, marketing team, quality assurance team, and so on. You can see there are a lot of teams. And we were spending a lot of our working hours on sync meetings, communicating stuff. Those teams, some depended on each other, but all of them had some kind of autonomy. So they have their own roadmap, their own plans. And when you have to release one product altogether, you're spending a lot of time just communicating how you're going to do that. And that was a lot of waste of time. And at that time, so we were in the mobile industry. Mobile industry was skyrocketing. We were slow as a company, as a product. We couldn't deliver the product that was competitive enough. It started aging. So we were thinking about solutions, and one of those was, let's start the client from scratch. Let's make it in some cross-platform engine, technology, whatever. And let's modernize it. Let's focus on mobiles and improve user experience. So this is already, the TopEleven existed for more than 3 years already. And because the industry was changing a lot, our users changed. Their needs were the same. So we gathered a huge engineering team that are like really good engineers. Design was mostly, all design decisions were already there. We wanted to improve user experience, but we were in the mindset, let's deliver the project. Let's deliver the product. We weren't doing incremental things. We weren't doing any smaller releases. We were just stopping everything and doing the product over again in a deliver the product mindset. But how can we do any improvements in that mindset? Okay, so as I said, TopEleven already lived for some time. We had like 100 million users already playing it. And while they were playing, we were collecting all of their data, like how are they playing, what do they like in the game, when do they stop playing, what happens to them, what situation, do they have any problem, did they encounter bugs, performance issues, whatever. And we had huge amount of data about them. So we took that data, analyzed it, saw what are the good stuff that came from old TopEleven, and wanted to keep that and see what we wanted to improve. Even with that amount of data, we started doing personalized experience for our users. Because we know we can compare them to older users. If we see they're similar to some kind of user, we want to personalize the experience for them. Another thing is at that time, user testing started to hype up. We didn't know anything about it. So we first hired one specialist in the company, then started using some third-party tools and some specialized agencies and started learning about it. And when we had some prototypes, ideas, we started testing it with our users, and we got huge amount of feedback. And when we incorporated that into the idea of the new TopEleven, of the new UX, we were mind blown how the users liked it more, how it was easy to iterate and get the best idea out. Later on in the project, we started doing crowd testing. So what did that mean for us? We had a lot of old users. We firstly selected some of them all over the world and sent them the newest build. Told them like let's please try this game for 7 days, 10 days, and gave us some feedback. That feedback was really good. Then we started transferring some whole countries. I don't know, for example, let's try to give the new client build to everybody in Indonesia. So we gave all the new users, all the old users that built, and sent them some service like, do you like this upgrade? What do you like the best, and so on. So a lot of feedback, getting back to ideas, and then iterating on them, getting the best possible experience for our users. Okay, and then the day came. So when we wanted to release everything, full launch, everybody, and it wasn't easy. First of all, we had a lot of technical risks. So we used whole new technology stack, Unity, and Unity at that time wasn't used so much in the industry. There were not much huge products, like large companies didn't use it, so we didn't know how it will perform in a wildlife of production. So in production, a lot more stuff happened than you can test. We wanted to do a force update, but as you know, with mobile stores, it takes some time for a client to propagate. And we knew like some users will come to the game, they'll see like you cannot go on until you update, and in the store there was no update. It would be a huge frustration for them. And that was like really an issue for us. The second thing was we knew we will have huge amount of initial resistance. So some of our players, and there were millions of them, played the game for 3 or 4 years. They're used to the UI. You know, it's really hard to make them, even when the UI and user experience is not good, it's really hard to transfer the users. And we were transferring them to the totally new style of user experience in one moment. And the important thing here is like, you have to prepare for it. Find what are the pain points, prepare the announcements, prepare the tutorials, be prepared to answer each question of your user that comes through support channels, through feedback, through comments on store and everything. When you're prepared, it goes a lot easier. And as I said, up until then, we were working as small teams, independent teams, and this had to be done like whole company doing this release at the same time. We were not just releasing the client build, we were having a huge marketing campaign. The player experience team was on call to answer each ticket immediately. So it's a huge effort and we had to do it all together. And we managed, and then we realized that is the only way you can do great things, you can get great results. To do everything together, to be totally synced, to be one team. Not independent, small teams that are doing, everyone is doing what they want to do, and everybody has to be synced, everybody has to do it together. Okay, so that's done. We are getting closer to the present. So up until then, TopEleven had like 100 people working on it. And that point we went to cross-platform engine. It was a lot easier. We didn't have to implement everything 3 times for 3 different platforms. We rejuvenated the code base. We were solving some technical issues, technical debt. And then we said, like, now we can get on with a little bit smaller team and have the other employees do new projects. But we had to select who will stay. And we were aiming for highly passionate people, but people who have a passion for TopEleven. And when people have a passion for a product they're working on, they're contributing a lot better. And we also aimed for T-shaped people. Why? So we wanted whole team to be involved from the ideation phase up to the release phase. So we got such people. There are developers with design experience, artists with user experience skills. There are developers that were full stack, that had some quality assurance mindset, and so on. And we learned from each other, so everybody can contribute to each part of the project. Oh, I skipped one thing. So, what was our plan? Our plan was let's do continuous upgrades to the TopEleven. Have at least one meaningful release. What does it mean, meaningful release? So users have to feel they updated the game because of something. They got something out of it. They didn't just update it because we fixed some bugs or because we want to improve performance, scale better our servers or something. No, they have to get something because they don't want to update the game with no reason. We want meaningful updates regularly, and we managed to do that. It was hard to get to that mindset. We had some like smaller releases we've done for 2 or 3 weeks, or the huge releases we prepared for 2 months. And we got some even regularity, like huge yearly releases, because you know, there's like in the gaming industry, in the sports gaming industry, there's a trend to release like a new version of the game, huge version, that's following sports like seasons. So that's why we started releasing TopEleven 2015, 16, 17, and so on. We're releasing TopEleven 2018 really soon, like in a few days. Okay, so what did we learn from this experience? If you want a small team to have regular updates, a really complex product, they have to have like option to push the project really fast, not to overthink every decision, but leave the room for iterations. Whenever you can get feedback on anything you are doing, iterate back to see, can I improve something? How can I deliver the best idea I have to the users? So I marked here like 4 milestones where you can get a really good iteration. So during the ideation, the idea phase, you try to present your work as soon as you can to the team, so you can get feedback and iterate back. And when you're satisfied with the feedback, you go to the next phase. You're prototyping. So you have something physical, either paper prototype, code prototype, whatever. It's physical. You can see how are you interacting with your idea, with your feature. And you can start user testing. You can show the idea to your users. And you can get the feedback from them. And then, again, iterate back, improve the idea, get to delivering the product. Then before you release, you can, again, show it to some of your users, iterate back, watch how they're reacting to it, even trying it inside of the company. You'll for sure get some feedback there also. And then even after the release, it's really good to follow up. You'll get tons of feedback on stores, on forums, directly from users, contacting you through support channels. You're getting feedback, don't forget about it. Analyze it, see if you want to tweak the feature a bit with really soon, or you want to do another huge update of that feature. Plan it, don't forget about that, it's really important. Fast iterations are the only and the best way to get your best version of your idea to the users, and to do it in a really fast pace. So we weren't doing that before. We were calling it agile, but it was really a waterfall. The idea was going through phases, never coming back. So it's really hard to adjust to that mindset, especially for developers. And I know most of you are developers. Okay, so you've got the feedback, you got the feature you want to make. You're designing perfect architecture. You're splitting everything into modules, preparing everything to be really to have really good performance and everything. And then you get a new iteration. The feature changed. You have to redo half of the architecture. So it's really hard to throw all your work and start it again. But if you communicate it well, if the developer knows why am I doing this, this is like bringing the good stuff to the product, then he'll be up for it. And after some time, everybody starts thinking like, how can I make my architecture resilient to changes? So it's really important. Like, think about what can change easily. Can I separate that system? Can I make it tweakable? Even when I get, because I'm a developer, when I get, you have to change something, request, and I see I didn't prepare it for changes, like I think, maybe they're going to change it again. I'm going to prepare now this part of code for changes, for future changes. Up until now, I've told you like a bit of how we do things, and now I want to tell you like exactly in what order do we deliver improvements on TopEleven. So first we start with an idea. Where does an idea come from? So it can be from idea pool that anybody in the company do. It can be from user problems, so they report problems, we get user stories out from it, and we have some like a backlog of what can we do for our users, how can we make their play sessions better. Also, there is a creative vision. What is a creative vision for us? It's a high-level document that describes how should TopEleven look like, what feelings should it bring to our users. Why should they play it? It's not gameplay specific. It's not describing the gameplay. It's describing vision of TopEleven. And when you read it, you will always find some part that's not like really goodly satisfied in the product we have in the store. So you can say, I want to improve on this part. I want my users to feel more engaged. I want them to feel more thrilled. How can I do that? To be precise, we are not doing this ideation phase every time in the update loop. Why? Because we have some roadmap of ideas we want to deliver. And we do that on some longer term base. But next phases, we do every time. So we get to design phase. What does it mean? A team or individual gets an ownership of the idea, of the feature, and he has to come up with a first version of it, like a description how it works. And then he needs to deliver it to the team as soon as he can, to show it on design pitches. That are the kind of places where he presents the idea and then he gets feedback for it. And then he iterates back to it until he's satisfied about all the feedback and he thinks like, this is really good version of this feature. Then we go to prototyping, either code or paper prototype, depending on what are the risks, how technically hard it is to do a code prototype, and show it to our users. User testing can be done really early in development. Why? Because with a good user tester, with a good leader of user testing, he can focus the user, he can lead him through the feature and focus his feedback on the important stuff. So even if the half of the feature is not finished designing, users can give feedback on the parts that are finished. Just need to lead them to that feedback. Okay, now we're getting to development. At this time, we have a complete design of the feature. But important stuff here, it's not final. We kid it, it's never final in my team. But what I want to say, we always leave room for iteration. We know new iterations and improvements will come later. But at least it has a whole user flow through the feature inside of the game designed here. And we start doing user interface, illustrations, modeling. That's in our department. In development department, we start doing implementation of it. Most of quality assurance is also done here because we prepare automatic tests, we start integrating front end and back end in this phase. We try to get to the buildable project, like playable project, as soon as we can. So the team can do a play session, for example, each day. In the beginning of the day, they start playing it for a few minutes, so they can give feedback to the implementation and to the design. So maybe they don't like some part, they don't like some art, they want to iterate back on it, but maybe they don't like how it's performing, like it's too slow. We have to do something about it, and so on. And the important stuff that quality assurance brings to this phase is we do a full test case scenarios. So we write down everything that's going to be testable in the feature. And why is this important? Because it makes the feature fit in with all older systems. So we think about how we'll fit in with everything, and that for sure will bring another iteration of design, because designers for sure didn't think about all the cases. It's complex product. They didn't think about all the situations. Here, we are going to make them think about everything and specify how the feature will behave. Next thing is integration phase. When we come to this phase, first thing we do is like select a release date, fix it up, like this is the release date. We can assess how much work we have left, and like this exactly will be a release date. Why is this important? Marketing guys up to this point selected like what are they going to do, but they cannot finalize anything without the release date. So here they are finalizing things. Everything is integrated with other features that were developed at the same time. We do a localization of all text assets. And we do final art and design sign-off. What is this milestone for us? This is the last time we can do any change in design and art before we release. We can do it after release more, but before we release the first version of this feature, this is the last time. Then we go to the risk management. Yeah, risk management, I forgot about that. So we write down all the risk we can think about that can happen during the release, after the release, and see if we want to do something about that now. Do we do a better tutorial? Do we do some announcements before the release? Because, for example, we are stopping support for some devices or so on. We want to announce that before we stop it. Do we prepare some crisis management situation after the release? If something happens, we are going to do that and that. In the release phase, that's not so easy, but it's a short phase. Like we do upgrade of servers, we upgrade clients, we start all the marketing activities, we start tracking if everything is okay with the product, like if the load of the service is okay, if we have some unexpected bugs and so on. And it's not finished here. So we go into the tracking phase. After the release, you want to have some time to track like what's happening with the KPIs. Is this feature making the business of the product better? Are we earning more money? Are our players playing more? Do we get new players more than before? If we fucked something up, we have to fix it. So it's important to track it. Track user reactions, see what are they commenting on stores, on everything. See what can you do about it. Do I have to fix something? Check the product health. Did we reduce the number of bugs in production? Did we make the service faster? Did we make the client faster? Whatever. Track it up. And that's about it. That's one update. And as you can see, this takes a lot of time to release one feature. Then how can we do that like 12 times a year with a meaningful release? Even when core changes happen, when this update cycle takes 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. How can we then do more releases during a year? Okay, so we do that by having multiple features in our pipeline. And if we don't have resources to have, for example, multiple features at the same time in development, we can have it in different phases. While we're designing one feature, the other one is getting developed, and another one is preparing to be released. And to do this, we separate ourselves in multiple pods. Pods are small parts of team. And why is that different than making more teams? Because these pods are formed like temporary, only to do one job. They're independent in a way they can have their own plans, their own execution. But if any other pod needs immediate assistance, we're going to move people there. And when some pods finish their work, we are going to reorganize them, prepare them for new work. We often change who we work with, and so on. And we try to keep like a spirit of one team. That's important because we are working all together. That's why it's not multiple teams. It's one team, temporarily divided into multiple pods that are changing every month or two. What else is happening currently on this product? So this product was made 7 years ago. And as you heard, like a first talk on this conference is like product, exactly, software ages. And users are changing. Users are changing their expectation of the software. So you cannot keep it same and think about and expect the same results. And what we changed smaller things during this 7 years. We added more features, more and more. We changed smaller side features and so on, but we never got into changing the core of the features, the core of the TopEleven. And this is really important because TopEleven was made in 2010 for Facebook audience, when the Facebook games were thriving. It's not the same audience you have today on mobile. They have totally different expectation from a product. They have totally different user behavior in the game. That's why we decided we have to change core features. And as you know, if you pull out a core feature from the game, it's really hard. It takes a lot of time to fix up everything and change the feature. And still be careful because you have multiple million of users playing it all the time. So we are doing this. It's really hard. We did like 2 features totally changed in the last few months, and we are doing 2 more now. And last but not the least, we are getting started with the live ops. What does live ops mean for us? It means that we can deliver meaningful content to our users without having a release. That's really hard to comprehend, but I'll try to explain. So we are designing special features that are highly customizable and can be turned on and off for some time, like an event in the game. And then we are designing dashboards, non-technical stuff, so they can like say, I think this is a good moment to turn on some feature for a week, to have some event that's going to motivate, for example, users to express certain behavior. And this works really good because users liked, if you design features that users like and that can be tweaked enough so they don't see the repeating part, they really like it. And it brings a lot of value for after the initial development. It has little effort to release content, and it gets huge value. That's about it. I've shown you how we do one update and how do we manage to do more updates during 1 year to have regularity, to release like once a month approximately. I hope you liked what I've told you here. If you have any questions, you can ask them here, or if you get some question in a minute or two after the talk, I'll be somewhere around the conference. Find me, let's have a drink, exchange our user stories, exchange what we learned during our working hours. And I'm really thrilled that you came and listened to this number. Thank you again. So anybody has any questions?
Yeah, no online questions. I need to run again, definitely. Okay, anybody with questions? I think You
Okay.
were perfectly understood then. So, okay.
If you want me anything to be explained better, if I skipped something and you remember that after the conference, this is my email. You can contact me at any time and I'll be thrilled to help you out. Thank you for coming.
Okay. Rating appreciated.